What's going on, everybody? It's Key Town coming back with another one to talk about week 2 of the college football season. There was 3 games that I covered over the weekend. I seen a lot of ups and I seen a lot of downs. Excuse me. I'm a little bit under the weather, but I'm here. I seen a lot of ups and I seen a lot of downs over these 3 games. Now, the first game I want to talk about is the Texas Longhorns and the Michigan Wolverines. Throughout this game, Texas looked like the better team and they played like the better team. When it come to the running game for the Texas Longhorns had over 100 yards rushing. Quinn Ewers, he had 246 yards passing and 3 touchdowns, but most of them touchdowns came off of big plays. Now, when it comes to Michigan, they just have to start all over. They really do, because Michigan, the last 3 years, is not the same Michigan. You got Davis Warren. He is really just a decent quarterback at best. The week before last, they were struggling versus Fresno State, and they were lucky to win the game versus Fresno State. Now you play Texas on Saturday, and you basically got blown out of your own house, because I looked at the entire game, and from the first quarter to the end of the game, Texas, they had the momentum all the way. They had quite a few third down conversions, third down situations actually, that they had to overcome. There was a 3rd down and 9 on the first drive. Texas got a first down. There was a 3rd and 12 on the second drive that Texas got a first down. And there was a 3rd down and 15 on the third drive. Texas got a first down. Wink Martindale, Michigan defensive coordinator, I don't know what in the world what he was calling on them third downs, but it was not working. Because how do you give up 3 10+ yardage third down conversions, and you talking about you was a good defensive coordinator in the NFL? It sure wasn't looking like it. Man, Michigan, they was just all out of sorts. They really was. And not to mention the big play that Texas had in that first drive was Ryan Wingo, his 55-yard catch to set it up for the first touchdown of the game. And then when you look at it, you can even look at, I'm going to show y'all the team stats. When you look at it, look at these stats. 389 yards for Texas to 284 with Michigan. Passing yards, 246 to 204. Then you look at rushing yards, 143 to 80, and yards per play, 5.7 to 5.1. Basically, these numbers are like in the same neighborhood, but when it comes to scoring points and putting the ball in the end zone, Michigan just didn't have it Saturday. I mean, when you look at it, I preach third down offense and fourth down offense when it comes to offense. Third down, Michigan was 3 of 12. On fourth down, they was 2 of 3. So they didn't have much going. And also, when it comes to total plays, Michigan had 56, Texas had 68. And penalties. The penalties, that is what hurt the Michigan Wolverines, because those penalties, they had Texas off the field on most of those penalties that they had. They had 4 penalties, 30 yards, but all of those penalties came on third down. Now, I always say, if you can get a team off the field on third down, do not do nothing crazy or stupid, and that's exactly what the Michigan Wolverines did. There was a lot. This really could have been a closer game if it wasn't for those penalties. This really could have been a closer game if it wasn't for those penalties. But those penalties that hurt Michigan, and that is what really gave Texas the upper hand. When it came to the fourth quarter, Texas was leading 31-6, and I was saying, okay, Michigan, they should just throw in the towel because Michigan, they are not like the same team as last year. J.J. McCarthy, he done gone to the NFL. Blake Corum done went to the NFL. Most of their wide receivers has went to the NFL. Defensive backs have went to the NFL. Sharon Moore has been given a new group and a new team, and they have to learn a very much new system and criteria when it comes to offense and defense. But do I think Sharon Moore is going to be able to put Michigan back on the map just like Jim Harbaugh did? No, I don't think so. I think that this team is going to be a decent to average team, if not more. This team is just decent at best. Because when you look at it, you look at Davis Warren, he is not the same quarterback when it comes to J.J. McCarthy. Devin Edwards, he is not the same running back that it comes to when it comes to Blake Corum. So Michigan, they have a lot of things to assess, a lot of things to cover, and a lot of things to get better at before they start thinking about getting back to the playoff and winning the championship. I don't even think that they're going to get to the national championship. I really don't. And where they are ranked at, being number 9, number 10 in the college football rankings, that's where they need to be at. And who knows, they probably ranked a little bit lower now since this butt kicking they took. And that's all I have. That's all I got to say on Texas versus Michigan. The next game I want to talk about is the Tennessee Volunteers versus the NC State Wolfpack. Now, this game right here, I already knew that Tennessee was going to win this game because I told y'all the NC State Wolfpack, they struggled with Old Dominion last week. How does a Power 5 school struggle with a team like Old Dominion? But hey, in sports, it's any given day. When it comes to Tennessee just flat out came out and handled business in Charlotte. They really did. You got Nico Lamevea. He was 16 of 23, 211 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Now, them interceptions, one was his fault, and then there was another one that deflected off of his wide receiver's hands. So he had a good game, had a great game actually, and also the volunteer running backs running back had a good game. Dylan Sampson had 20 carries, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns. And basically, when you look up and down this list, it was basically all Tennessee and nothing of NC State. NC State really, they didn't have the type of game. This game, everybody was saying that this game was supposed to be close, but I knew that it wasn't going to be close. And when you even look at these stats, when you look at them, 460 yards, Tennessee. Then you got NC State, 143 yards, rushing yards, 211 for Tennessee, 104 for NC State, passing yards, 211 passing yards versus 104 passing yards for NC State. Rushing yards, 249 for Tennessee, 39 rushing yards for NC State. And yards per play, 6.9 yards for Tennessee and 2.9 yards for NC State. Now, one thing that I said, NC State, they are out of the top 25. They really shouldn't even be in the top. They really shouldn't have been in the top 25 to start out the season, because Old Dominion, Old Dominion showed some lapses and showed some growing pains that NC State has. And Tennessee, they just put fuel to the fire. I mean, Nico Amiliova wasn't sacked at all, and NC State, they could never get it in the gear. And really, when you look at NC State, they are a bottom of the barrel team. They really shouldn't even be ranked, because when it comes to NC State, they have other teams on their schedule. They're going to lose some more. They might lose 6 or 7 games by the end of the season, because they have so much ineptitude on offense. I mean, when you look at it, the third down disparity, I mean, the efficiency rate for NC State, 3 of 12 on third down. And then you look at Tennessee, 7 of 14 on third down. Fourth down, Tennessee went for it on one occasion. They was 1 for 1. Fourth down, NC State was 0 of 2. And obviously, total plays, Tennessee has a huge advantage out of that. And NC State, they couldn't stop anybody. They couldn't stop anybody. And turnovers, that is what hurt NC State, because NC State had 2 fumbles lost, and they had an interception thrown. So they had 2 turnovers. Both teams had 2 turnovers, but Tennessee, they had an insurmountable lead. They were leading. By the time this game was over, I had already made my reaction video. It was 44-10 with under 10 minutes left in the fourth. So that game was firmly in hand. And Tennessee, is Tennessee a top-notch team? We got to see, because they haven't played any good teams to start the season. Chattanooga and NC State, both of those teams are the equivalent of a bottom of the barrel team. So that's all I got to say about Tennessee and NC State. Now, the next and final game I want to talk about is Colorado and Nebraska. I don't know what in the world is going on with Colorado, really, because I expected Colorado to play a much closer game, and in fact, they did play a much closer game, because do not let the 28 points by Nebraska fool you. Those 28 points, the offense did not score all 28 points. It was the defense that scored 7 of those points, because Nebraska, they were already up 21-0 after the first quarter. And you could even see right here. You see right here where total yards, Nebraska had 334. Colorado had 260. Passing yards, Colorado had more passing yards than Nebraska, but hey, that's a misleading. That would be misleading to some people. And also, as far as rushing yards, when it comes to rushing yards, Nebraska had more rushing yards than Colorado. Yards per play, Nebraska had more yards per play than Colorado. And when you look at the third down efficiency, both of these teams were about the same when it comes to third down efficiency. 3 of 12. Nebraska was 3 of 12, and then you had Colorado 4 of 14. Now, both of these teams, they pretty much are in the same boat. Yeah, they pretty much are in the same boat. They ran the same amount of plays. Excuse me. They ran the same amount of plays, and also they had the same amount of penalty yards. But where this game went south for Colorado was the first quarter. I mean, in the first quarter, it seemed like Colorado wasn't able to stop nothing. You had Dylan Raiola. You had Dylan Raiola. You had Dylan Raiola just just throwing the ball with so much comfortability. And plus, to think of it, Dylan Raiola, he didn't have over 200 yards. He was 20 of 30, 185 yards, and 1 touchdown. Shedeur Sanders, he was 23 of 38, 244 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Now, first quarter, like I said, look at the scoring summary for the first quarter. First quarter, they up 14-0. Colorado wasn't able to stop nothing. I mean, on third down, it seemed like Nebraska didn't even attempt a third down. That's how efficient Nebraska was in the first quarter. Now Colorado was already down 14-0. Then the interception that Shedeur threw, they were down 21. That Colorado was down 21-0 already. And then after that, excuse me. And then after that, before halftime came, Namar Johnson caught a pass from Dylan Raiola, and it was 28. It was 28-0 at halftime. And then all of a sudden, third quarter, Colorado really didn't do much. I mean, if you see it right here, third quarter, they really ain't do much. I mean, Colorado got a field goal there, and then Webster, Shedeur Sanders passed it to LeJontay Wester for a 5-yard touchdown pass, and that was basically it. That was the whole game. Nebraska. Now, is Nebraska a top 25 team? I don't know. Dylan Raiola, I've seen him play. He is not new on the scene. Everybody keep comparing this guy to Mahomes, but I got to see it for myself before I say anybody is Mahomes material, Mahomie worthy. That's what I'm going to say. I don't think Dylan Raiola is Mahomie worthy yet. I just don't. But as far as Colorado, next team you got on your schedule, you got Colorado State. You got Colorado State next on your schedule, and you playing on the other side of town. You playing in Colorado State's stadium. So Colorado, you have a lot. You got a lot of things to work on, and is Colorado going to be able to get to a bowl game this season? It remains to be seen. But they did not look great versus Nebraska at all. They did not look great. They didn't. Nebraska, congratulations. You are officially ranked in the top 25. Let's see what Nebraska can do. Can they keep this momentum going? And with that, those are my reactions from week 2 of the 2024 college football season. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell to get notified of all of my reaction videos, shows, and other content. And also follow Key City Sports on TikTok. And remember one last thing. Remember, the key is always on time.